Kick the music. Alright. I just need you to head on over, check the audio levels.
Okay. No need to give me a link because for some reason I have your channel on speed dial. I don't even have my own channel on fucking speed dial. What's up with that?
I don't know. All you need to know is we are pretty much ready.
Okay. Be quiet for 2 seconds. I need to hear it. Okay, I think we're good.
Cool. I like this lo-fi, chill, copyright-free beat I found.
Oh my god, so that's how long the delay actually is.
Yeah, it's a big delay.
Wow. I never realized. Okay, y'all ready for this?
Don't drown out my copyright-free stuff with copyright stuff.
Ah, shit, you're right. No, it's okay. I'm a terrible singer.
That is fair. I am also a terrible singer.
Yeah.
So yes, welcome one and all to episode 1 of a World Beyond is what I'm going to call it. In this series, we'll be looking over the Archie Sonic and the IDW Sonic comic series. We might also do the Fleetway, but I am less certain about that one. Mostly because I do not own any of that one. But yeah, so we're starting today with issue 0, the original miniseries premiere issue. This was released in 1992, a little bit after or around the time Sonic 2 had come out, so this predates both deep-cut cartoon shows, but uses aspects from them because they had access to production documents.
Okay, so like way off topic, I really need to update that avatar because I usually just wear like a beanie and my hair is way shorter.
I get you. So with me today for the miniseries and a few other issues that I will not disclose because that would be spoilers, is
Ooh.
Tyler.
That's me. I'm Tyler, aka that fat guy. I'm fat and I'm the fastest thing not alive because I'm not fast in the slightest.
Yes. And you know me, I'm your host, the Real Falcon Punch 7, and today we're gonna take it a bit easy because these miniseries issues aren't in depth. There's not a lot of controversy behind them, and there's not really much to talk about outside of how they got made.
Wait, there is one big controversy that we need to discuss.
Is there?
Yes. Eggman's booty ain't dummy thick enough. It needs at least 5 C's.
Ah, fair.
Alright, anyway.
So yes, so this all came about because Archie ended up getting the rights to print a Sonic the Hedgehog comic series. Ostensibly, it was to be based on the games and shows, but it ended up coming out first because of how little turnaround time the comic takes to make compared to a TV show. It still takes a while, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot quicker than a TV show. This cover was done by Scott Shaw, who does the interior art for the book. Eggman looks very different here than he actually does in the book. I'm gonna say that right now.
Probably because they were using early design documents for the game.
Yeah, the cover was probably the first thing they made.
Yeah.
So anyways, real quick note, this issue was written by Michael Gallagher. Gallagher only got the job because of a comic series he was doing for Marvel at the time. You might have heard of it. You remember Alf? Well, he's back in Pog form.
Ah. My favorite form of Alf.
Yes. But yeah. So the way this is going to work, this is on a meta note here, we're not going to be showing you every single page. That would be illegal. But if something catches our eyes, we will show it off and you'll get to see it on stream. This stream will also be posted up to YouTube for future viewings. Now, let us continue down past the advertisement for Superman the game.
Kryptonite not included? Aww.
Why would they?
I wanted to throw it at Sonic.
Why would
See
they?
if that did anything.
Why would they even include Kryptonite? You're playing as Superman. You don't want Kryptonite.
Maybe you just really. Maybe the advertisements just assume you're Lex Luthor and you really just want to fucking chuck rocks at Superman.
Fair. Alright. So.
That's just a working theory.
Yeah. So, as I said, we're not going to be showing you every page, but I will show you page 1 because it's just one big splash image. So, no harm showing that. That way you can get an idea of what we're looking at here. Centered. There we go. Alright, page 1 of so many. How many pages is this? Not counting ads. It is 26 pages we got to get through.
Sonic is showing the finger that he just picked his nose with. Tails is stoned out of his fucking mind. Boomer is also stoned out of his mind. Sally is a blonde. Yes. And Antoine is having none of your fucking shit.
Yes, so this is story 1 of issue 0. Don't Cry for Me, Mobius. Okay, so our cast of characters for this issue. Sonic, Tails, Boomer, Sally, Antoine, Robotnik, Buzzbomber, Cluck, Crabbeat, and Caterkiller.
Buzzbomber looks like evil Emperor Zurg.
Yeah, this is the design that they went with for SatAM for Buzzbombers, but only in the pilot. Buzzbombers do not appear in the rest of the show as far as I can remember. You'll also notice that Robotnik has changed from, well, the cover to basically SatAM.
Although, even though this is SatAM's design, this Robotnik is pretty much written like the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, yes.
Version versus the SatAM version.
You know, he has an 8-ball for a joystick on his console. He's using Mega Muck. He's chasing Sonic himself, something he never did in SatAM. Not unless Snively was piloting the ship.
Interesting little factoid in the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog production for animation. They intentionally made Robotnik's ass fat.
Yeah, no. If you see the design documents, Milton Knight was specific about what he wanted for Robotnik, and Milton Knight is a genius, so nobody questioned him.
I guess not. It kind of reminds me of Yoko Taro and the design documents for 2B, basically jokingly saying he will fire every single one of the animators if 2B's ass isn't right.
Well, you know, Milton Knight was a genius, and the show that they made with Milton Knight's designs was not up to snuff. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not a fan of Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I tolerate it.
I personally like it, but I also watched more Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog as a kid than SatAM.
I watched neither as a kid, so I am unbiased in my opinion. I think both shows leave a lot to be desired.
I had 2 VHSs of Sonic-related media growing up. I had the Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, and I had the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Dude, they need to re-release that movie.
Yeah, you'd think that would have been a bonus feature.
Yeah, the Blu-ray. We don't have a Blu-ray of that movie.
We have a... What is that new, We have a 4K release of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. The new one. Okay, not the new one.
The 2021.
Yes, thank you. Speaking of that, I just, accepted the fact that was the last movie I was ever going to see in theaters.
I did for a while, and then Venom 2 came out.
Well, actually, for me, it was Godzilla vs. Kong, but...
Yeah, fair. But anyways, back to the story. Please note that Boomer is a prototype name for Rotor, so I'm going to be referring to him as Rotor throughout this entire review.
Wonder why they changed the name.
I think it's because they just didn't think Boomer was a good enough name for the character.
Maybe. I mean, that happens. Sometimes names just catch on.
Yeah.
Better.
For example, Antoine D. Colette, that's actually a prototype name. His actual name in the show was Antoine Diapard.
Huh.
They stuck with De Colette in the comic, and that's the name he's known by more because the comic outlasted the show by many, many, many years.
Oh, yes. And it wasn't until somewhat recently that the comics, well, kind
Kaput.
of rebooted. Yeah. Well, I say rebooted, but, you know.
The rights changed hands, and with the rights changing hands came the, change of the guard. Except the guard came with the rights, so most of the new people are artists.
I find it somewhat amusing that Archie, lost the rights, not too long after they rebooted, kind of rebooted the Archie universe.
Yeah, it was a soft reboot, and they lost the rights, basically because Sega didn't trust them anymore.
I mean, after you cancel 7 of their books without telling them.
Oh, they never canceled any of Sega's books.
Oh, really? I thought that's what happened.
No. What happened was they got sued again.
Fucking Ken Penders. We'll get to him later in this
we'll get to
show,
the people. We'll get to the people who sued them later. All we need to know now is the people that we have here: Michael Gallagher, Scott Shaw, and Richard Goldwater. Also Barry Grossman. Let me explain these people. Michael Gallagher is the most prolific writer for the series, which is impressive given Ian Flynn lasted longer than him. Gallagher...
Well, and even also Ian Flynn, I've heard, is writing the new Sonic game.
Yes. So, Michael Gallagher lasted on Archie well into Ian's run. He only left because he just stopped, basically. His stories weren't needed anymore. Scott Shaw will only appear in the miniseries and a later issue. He went on to do other things. But that exclamation point after his name is going to be important much, much later on. So remember that. It's a very important punctuation. Barry Grossman is a prolific colorist. We'll see him throughout the run. He does good colors. I mean, look at this. This is a nice color.
Yeah, for an early 90s comic, this is pretty good.
Oh yeah, and when we get to the actual pages instead of just, this spread, he keeps up the quality.
Yeah.
And Richard Goldwater we need to mention because Richard Goldwater, editor-in-chief, was the person who owned Archie Comics. And Richard Goldwater is a bit of an asshole.
I mean, with the last name like Goldwater, what did you really expect?
Yeah. Nothing he did affected this book, but it did affect other things. Namely, Josie and the Pussycats and Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I feel like the writing should have been on the wall with Archie Comics and Sega. For Sega, you know what I mean?
I mean, when you get sued twice.
Right.
So yeah. Alright, we move on from page 1 to page 2, where Robotnik is speeding after Sonic with his Megama. Huck misses a shot because of Sonic's impressive jump.
Speaking of the little 8-ball, anyone remember Mega's XLR? No? Okay.
Let's not bring up that. I'm still sore.
I know. They had fucking Bruce Campbell as a literal giant talking head, and that show still got canceled, and that makes me sad.
They didn't want to produce it. It cost too much, apparently, so they made it a tax write-off.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Alright, okay, sorry. Anyway, moving on with the Sonic comic.
So, looking at this page, there's really nothing much to show. Caterkiller shows up and introduces himself to Sonic, who is a bit impatient about Robotnik's whole shtick.
Ah! Now you're trapped, Hedgehog! You will tell me the location of Knothole. Oh god, do not bring up Knothole's knots and furries. Village, or I will encase you in Mega Muck forever!
Says Robotnik.
You capture my friends and turn them into robots? No way, Tubby!
Said Sonic.
Then prepare to perish, Sonic!
Said Dead Meat Caterkiller. So we move on to page 3, which I will show to show the fate of Caterkiller. A character that had so much potential brimming within him.
Ew, gross! Robotnik came on him!
Nice spoiler.
The dialogue is not helping!
Nice spoiler.
I've been waiting for this moment!
So yes, here we are, page 3. And yes, indeed, that is basically what happened.
I love the onomatopoeia they chose for this specific situation. Kasplork!
Yes. Kasplork.
Like, ew, he came on him. That's gross.
It splattered all over my Caterkiller. That means 2 things.
You really should see a doctor about that. I am a doctor!
You're not that kind of doctor, though. So yes, Robotnik destroys
what is with the fucking dialogue? This is not helping.
Yeah.
I'd love to stick around, but I've gotta choose.
The early comics are heavy with dialogue like this. And when I say heavy, I mean obese.
I'm looking forward. My 8-year-old brain is looking forward to this.
I mean...
So, you know, my brain is looking forward to this.
A little while later on in the book, they spend an entire 2 panels dedicated to making a joke about aerial photography with a mermaid camera.
Need I remind you of the unfortunate coloring accident of Sonic in the Rain?
That's much later. We will definitely bring it up when we get to it, though.
It's like, it's just really funny. Oh my god.
Can we bring up the fact that some of the muck on Robotnik has turned white also?
Gross!
So yeah.
Oh, I'll get to that. And he's like jerking off with his hand. I'll get to that, Hedgehog, if it's the last thing I do.
Jeez.
Look at that, the fucking Caterkiller is seeing stars.
Yep. So yes, this page does very well to establish that no matter what Robotnik ends up doing, Sonic is going to win. This is their dynamic for most of the early run of the book. Robotnik chases Sonic with some sort of device. Sonic does something at the last second that makes it turn on Robotnik, and Robotnik is left holding the bag. Metaphorically, of course.
Right.
So off Sonic speeds, off to Knothole, where he turns to the camera, breaks the 4th wall, and starts to explain what Knothole is, why it exists, and shows you how to get there.
I didn't know Sonic and Deadpool had the same superpowers.
Sonic will very often break the 4th wall in the early book. Very often. To the point where at one point, Sonic suggests that when he goes into the special zone to get rings to become supersonic, the reader play along with him, providing a Genesis controller picture for them to press buttons on and do nothing.
Were the writers high when they were making this?
Maybe. I will say, though, that Scott Shaw's talent is once again on display. He can make Mohawk Sonic work.
Yeah, it's actually not too bad. Like, Mohawk Sonic is definitely not my favorite, but it's not bad here.
Nope.
Mostly because it looks like it has actual, like, flow to it.
Yes. Once again, Barry Grossman's skill is on display again. These are very nice, warm colors for the grass, despite green being a cool color.
Yeah, like it's no JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in terms of like how things are colored, but it's very nice looking.
Yes. Sonic's unnatural blue doesn't clash with the natural greens and browns of the forest. That's important.
Yeah. Which is not coloring is not an easy science, so gotta give credit where credit is due.
Oh yeah. Something I'm not going to point out is any really small coloring errors, because I know there are some on this page specifically, but at this point in time, they were not coloring these things digitally. They were doing this by hand.
Yeah, this was before the digital artwork days, so...
It existed for sure, but not in a very affordable kind of slant.
Yeah.
Especially not for a comic colorist. Marvel didn't start digital coloring until at least 2000, I don't think.
Yeah, I want to say that, yeah.
Alright, so we move on to page 5, where I will once again bring it up on screen because we need to talk about Sally for a second.
So, if you're a long-time Sonic fan, all of this may come off as very uncanny. Well, first of all, I don't know if it's just my scan, but like Sonic looks like he has no pupils, and it kind of looks like when he opens his eyes, he'll be possessed.
This is just
Tails looks stoned out of his fucking mind.
Oh yeah, that he does.
Like those eyes, they're like that of a doll's eyes.
This is unfortunately a carryover from the odd design choices that the show made with the character. Because Tails is ripped directly from the design documents for Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, down to the brown and yellowish coloring.
And actually, I've seen that character, the Sonic when he's like clapping his hands together. I've actually seen that similar like illustration.
Oh yeah, now Scott.
Yeah,
Scott Shaw here is taking the Mohawk Sonic design of the show and putting him in a pose that's actually from official artwork.
Sega uses this artwork for like colorization, like for like artists to see like, oh, okay, so like this is the exact color you need.
Yes. For example, Sonic, the shade of blue Sonic is technically called Cobalt. So if you ever wanted to color Sonic, look for a Crayola colored pencil that says Cobalt, and you're halfway there.
Also, it's interesting that they changed Robotnik in the Set AM show, considering the reason he was initially designed the way he was so that way he was easy for kids to draw.
Oh yeah. The thing is, though, if we want to get technical, Robotnik isn't that much harder to draw than Eggman.
True.
His head is a cone, with 2 ovals on the side and a mustache. He's made up of very simple geometric shapes, basically, still.
Also, just a side note, Robotnik has some of the funniest expressions in this entire comic, intentionally or otherwise.
Oh, yes. That is true. But yes. So as I said, we need to talk about Sally. When Sonic returns, giving Tails his establishing dialogue, and pretty much the only thing you're going to know about him for most of the early run of the book, whereas Rotor comes in and basically establishes himself as a character that's pretty important considering how many lines he gets. In the early run of the comics and part of Sat AM, specifically the pilot, Rotor was kind of the best friend to Sonic in a way that, mostly went to Tails after a while. Tails was kid brother. Rotor was best friend. Eventually, Tails became kid brother best friend. And Rotor just sort of lost purpose for a bit.
Well, until Sonic cucked him, but that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. So let's talk about Sally. Let's talk about the color scheme here. because this is actually very interesting. So, this color scheme seems to be mostly reminiscent of early concepts for SatAM, where Sally was not... She didn't look like this, but she was an animal. She had blonde hair and tannish fur. She seemed to be some kind of rodent. But yeah. She was also more princessly and wore a dress, but that's besides the point. Dress was actually the color her fur is now.
So, also, one of the original colorizations, she was pink, but I don't remember if this was after or before this.
That was before, long before. The very first sketches done for SatAM were done without any knowledge of what they were doing or who the characters were beyond Sonic. Which is why Dr. Robotnik was a giant Goblin King instead of,
Oh yeah,
Robotnik.
I remember that.
Yes. So,
you can find them online if you're curious.
They are online. But yeah, so yeah. Sally and that was a human princess. She eventually became an animal princess. So as to not be weird. Take note, Sega. That's weird.
Yeah, if only Sega took some heed on the original design documents of Madonna and also, decided not to go forth with what they did with Princess Elise. Isn't that right, Sega? Isn't that right? They kind of, sort of, almost went that route with Maria, but, I think they made it pretty clear that Maria and Shadow are, brothers and sisters.
It's a platonic relationship, I should say.
Yeah. Cute, but platonic.
Yeah. Whereas Elise and Sonic just didn't work. Where if you replace Elise with Sally, it might have worked slightly better. I can't say for sure, because Elise's character is a plank of wood trying to work off Sonic's, who at that point in time was also kind of a plank of wood, but had a few defining knots to him.
See, what's funny about Elise is that, me and my brother once got in this argument because I was arguing, do you really honestly expect me to believe that Princess Elise would not cry for 10 years, especially after the death of her father? I cried when I was 9 and I scraped my fucking knee.
Yep.
You really expect me to believe that? And fucking... Well, I shouldn't say it like that, but my brother was like, well, people handle grief differently, not everybody cries, at the death of, their father. I'm like, does that mean she can't laugh too hard either? What, or does that mean she can't get an allergic reaction? What does that mean?
Yeah, that plot is dumb. We'll get to that later, though.
But, real quick though, my point is that, I'm willing to, that being said, I actually might be willing to let that slide, because Princess Elise's character is such a blank piece of wood that they really don't give you, anything to attach to Princess Elise, so in a way, it actually kind of works.
Yep. So yeah, I also like to point out that since it was so early on in the lifespan of Sonic the Hedgehog, nobody actually knew what Sonic the Hedgehog did character-wise. All they knew that he was cool, he had some attitude, and he fought Robotnik.
I mean, to be fair, Sega didn't necessarily know either, but...
So it's interesting to see that because of Deke and how much they were pushing things, a lot of the Sonics around this period all were the same thing. There was a consistency. It wasn't a good consistency, but it was consistent.
I mean, with how Sega handles storytelling in general, I'm kind of amazed they got that far, to be honest.
Yeah. I will point out, though, one thing that came out of SatAM in this comic that is actually good is when Sonic and Sally are written correctly, properly. Because Sally is the perfect straight man to Sonic's character.
Sally basically just has none of Sonic's nonsense, and that, you know what? That kind of works.
Yes. Sonic is bold, he's braggadocious, but deep down he has a heart of gold and is willing to do the right thing. Sally is also, all for the right thing, but she's more focused, she has goals, she has plans, but she's willing to let Sonic do what he does as long as he doesn't go too far. Because she knows deep down, he's got a plan that works for him, and if she steps in, it might wreck everything. She can plan around him. Yeah, she can plan around him pretty easily, because most of Sonic's plans boil down to the same thing, but still it's sweet that she lets him do his thing. Again,
so it's more along the lines of just like, he's annoying, but he knows what he's doing, so I'll let it slide.
Yeah. Again, this only works when they're written right. Another thing you gotta remember about Sally is, despite being a princess, she is very take-action, and she doesn't really revel in that fact.
Yeah, did you hear that, Ken Penders? When something is written right!
Yes. Yep. Sally would more than likely, if given the choice between running the kingdom and going off with Sonic to fight the good fight, would pick the latter. Yep. She likes to plan, she likes to have a plan and, help people, and she likes to have power to be able to help people, but she doesn't like being a princess. She likes being a leader, someone to set an example.
I mean, they still have her with the princess moniker because, well, princess sells more copies than queens, I guess.
Princess sells! Anyways, this Sally tangent aside, the bottom of this page shows Tails being a colossal goof.
Although, the fact that he's able to fucking twist his foot like that, I mean, that's gotta hurt. Although, then again, I guess he can use his tails like that, so maybe he's just a super contortionist.
That's a likely theory. But yeah, no. This is unfortunately going to be Tails' lot in life for most of the early run of the book.
But if you really want the actual answer of how he's able to do that, it's a fucking cartoon.
Yes. So yeah. Tails is an interesting little tidbit. Despite the fact that he became super popular upon first appearing, he never actually managed to beat Sonic in popularity, which is why Sidekick was where he ended up falling in terms of the hierarchy. He never really rose beyond that, despite attempts to give him something to do on his own.
Tails is still, now, like Jacob said, Tails is still very popular. In fact, even today, he's still like one of the top 10 favorite Sonic characters.
If there was to be a popularity poll, Tails would easily break top 5.
Yeah.
But, back in the day, his popularity, compared to Sonic, he peaked at 2.
Hey, even if back then they did a popularity contest when Sonic 2 came out, Tails would be number 2, so hey!
Yep.
I consider that a victory, even Luigi didn't get that. Ooh.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know why Tails didn't, outshine Sonic, because every single character introduced after Sonic 3E, Knuckles, Shadow, characters like that, all surpassed Sonic.
I mean, there's always, newness, kind of like, hey, brand newness will, raise popularity a bit.
That's true. It's just impressive how, Knuckles managed to maintain his popularity for years after his game. Despite the fact that there was...
shift around.
Yeah,
he'll be, top 5 or top 10.
Yeah. So Knuckles' popularity stayed for years despite the lull in Sonic-related property. We can attribute this to the comic if you want to please Ken Penders, but the more than likely answer was that Knuckles was just cool on his own in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and people remembered that more, and since Sonic really wasn't having any big games, people just held on to that memory until the next game.
No, people still remember that, even with the new Sonic movie coming out.
Yeah. So really...
From the looks of it, the movie hasn't come out by the time this stream is up, by the way.
Yeah.
From the looks of it, they're kind of going back to what Knuckles was kind of supposed to be. Just this big, hard-ass badass.
Oh yeah.
That like came out of nowhere to fuck up Sonic because Eggman, well, tricked him, but it wasn't because Knuckles was an idiot. It's because Knuckles was culturally.
Knuckles wasn't privy to anything going on off his island, basically.
Yeah, basically. Well, hey, you would be too if you had to guard a fucking all-powerful rock by yourself with no internet.
If we want to be technical, if according to the Japanese manual for Sonic 3, he thought the Death Egg was a dragon's egg.
Didn't they elaborate that on the comics, or was that like...
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But yeah. Also speaking...
also, in that same vein, according to the manual, Knuckles' favorite food is grapes.
Well, fruits. But grapes especially.
Yes.
In a similar vein to Japanese manuals, let's talk about Vector for a second, because he's my third favorite character and I feel like making a tangent.
Go ahead.
So, in the Japanese manual for Knuckles Chaotix, Vector's entire story for why he was on the island was interesting, to say the least. When it first got translated, it was translated wrong, and it sounded like Vector thought he was going to find God on the island.
Well, clearly he found God.
Yeah.
It was the Sega 32X.
Proper translations...
Only what he didn't know was that it was a false god.
Proper translations would later reveal that it was actually supposed to be a reference to Blues Brothers. He wasn't trying to find God, he was on a mission from God.
We gotta find the Lord Jesus! But what it actually meant was, Illinois Nazis? I hate Illinois Nazis!
Yep, basically. So if anybody out there wants to do a picture of Vector as a Blues Brother, that's technically canon.
Yeah. He is well, it kind of makes sense considering how big into music goes into his character.
Oh yeah, no.
It even went back all the way in his inception when the original idea was for Sonic to be in a band, and Vector was one of the bandmates.
The keyboardist, to be precise. So yeah,
music was always a big part of his character.
Moving on with the story, Sally thinks it's sweet that Tails idolizes Sonic to the extent that he does, and then lets it that they all idolize him.
I can't tell if she's being sarcastic or genuine, and that concerns me.
Oh no, she is being genuine, because the very next page she has her backtracking to take herself out of that equation because, you know, will they, won't they kind of stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. And
also, I know Sonic's eyeballs are on, like, the side, like, on the very, like, corner, but it really does look like he's just possessed.
Now, this is a coloring error I will mention. That is, specifically how they were drawing the eyelids at the time. The lower ones were white for some reason.
Huh.
Now, we can get into the peach or fur-colored eyelid debate, but I don't want to because I don't care. But I will say this doesn't look good. Now,
Antoine is having no one's shit right now.
Yeah. So yeah, this is our introduction to Antoine Nicolette, #1 blowhard of Knothole. Antoine is an interesting character in that he begins as a joke, and throughout the course of the series evolves into one of the most compelling and interesting characters they have.
And again, any good writer can turn, like, a stupid idea into, like, a really interesting, like, phenomenon. For example, can we say, for example, Venom?
Oh, yeah. Now, this is interesting because Antoine's development into an actual character instead of a joke is actually something we can thank the early writers for. It's not something that came later. So, it all started with Angelo De Caesar. He's also the one who introduced the romantic angle between Antoine and Bunny. So he started Antoine on the road to becoming an actual character, Ken Penders picked up on this in a rare moment of Ken actually realizing what other people were doing, and took it and ran with it, fleshing Antoine out even more. Then Carl Bola showed up and fleshed out Antoine even more, and then Ian Flynn came up and basically completed the metamorphosis from joke to, like, one of the best characters in the book.
So, see, as you can see, we're clearly willing to give credit where credit is due, because not all of Ken Penders is completely irredeemably terrible.
I think I should mention this now so I can get it out of the way so I don't have to bring it up when we actually get to Ken Penders. Ken Penders is a great idea man. He has good ideas. He cannot, for the life of him, though, flesh those ideas out into concepts and stories.
Think that if for wrestling fans, think Vince Russo.
So yeah, a lot of Ken's ideas are good. You know, Endgame was a great idea on paper, shake up the status quo. Execution-wise, they dropped the ball real hard, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Now, as for this story, Antoine is here to deliver an urgent message that there is a leak in Knothole. And when he says leak, he means actual literal leak. There's water dripping into their home. They live underground in the comic.
Oh no, they're spoiling their comic! Wait.
So this is something that they probably got from the early SatAM design documents, because in the show, Knothole is a village that is above ground, that Robotnik cannot find, despite it being in a glade.
I mean, I kind of see where they're coming from here, because, like, most of these animals, except for Rotor, obviously, are, like, live underground.
No, they don't.
Like, hedgehogs, foxes, whatever Sally is supposed to be. I think it's a chipmunk.
The chipmunks live in trees.
Well, you know what I mean. They're, like, in the woods.
Yeah. So, yeah. Antoine's
supposed to be a badger?
He's a coyote.
Okay. I could look at that design all day, and I would never be able to figure that out.
Yeah, no, that's something that they decided on later.
Ah.
He's just supposed to be a generic woodland creature here, but they decided on coyote because that was the closest thing they could think for him.
But yeah, like I said, for like most of the animals here, I kind of see where they're getting at, because like, you know, they're woodland creatures, and like even some of them live underground. Except for Rotor, like I said, except for Rotor, obviously.
Walruses live on beaches.
As you can see, the rare underground walrus. He is friendly with... Don't worry, he's quite friendly.
Rotor's the nicest guy, though.
I'll show you.
Yeah. However, I am disappointed that they weren't able to bring over one of his traits from SatAM that I actually did like. So, it actually has to do with the relationship between Rotor and Antoine. They hated each other. Like, Rotor could not stand Antoine. He thought he was an idiot. And Antoine,
I mean, SatAM, he's not entirely wrong, but...
And Antoine just, you know, thought of himself so highly that he looked down on everyone, so... That relationship was an interesting dynamic.
Also, for some reason, he has a French accent. Even though, you know, obviously there's no France in fucking Mobius. Well, until later, but that's another story.
There's no France on Mobius until they revealed, Mobius is Earth. Welcome to Earth.
Dude, you just leaked that spoiler. Speaking of leaks.
Speaking of leaks, we cut to page 7, which I will show because you have to see Robotnik's plaques. Don't spoil them until I get the picture up.
Oh, you're good. Also, there's an advertisement in the scans I'm reading.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Cowboys of Moon Mesa. Does anybody actually remember this show?
Whenever I don't want to, I do.
Yeah. Just like randomly at work. Oh yeah, Cowboys of Moon Mesa was a thing.
Up on Mesa. Oh, jeez. That song is going to be stuck in my head forever. So anyways, on page 7, we see Robotnik's office, which is something he has in the early book, an office, instead of, like a throne room or anything.
Love that even the speech bubbles have to have, like, the Sonic logo on it. It's miscolored for some reason. I don't know if it's just my scans or if it's like that in the actual books.
It's like that in the actual books. They change the color of the logo every so often.
But also, yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog!
Trademark.
Must be eliminated. Trademark.
So yeah.
We also see his title. Dr. Robotnik, Supreme Dictator, Industrial Polluter, Megalomaniac, Corrupt Politician, Underhanded Reprobate, Rainforest Ravager, Puppy Kicker, Oil Spill Coordinator, Holiday Hater, Insurance Salesman. Oh, God! The worst one of them all!
And your rights are violated while you wait.
Well, at least he's just being honest.
I have to respect the honesty on display.
Right, like, he's just an honest guy. Like, he just wants to make Mobius great again.
Oh, jeez.
Also, the art is kind of weird here because Robotnik's... I don't know where Robotnik's shoulders are supposed to be.
Yeah. Sad AM Robotnik does not have shoulders.
He is just a tummy.
Yeah. They took the egg shape of Eggman and decided... That's a circle, actually.
Also, it's weird to see, like, Sad AM Robotnik without, like, the black glowing red eyes.
Oh, yeah. And the interesting story about that actually comes from the box art for Sonic 2. They took that literally. Because the box art took Robotnik's design literally. Didn't think, those might be glasses. They thought, oh my god, his eyes are black gaping voids.
Yeah, which actually in its own way is pretty intimidating to give some credit, but...
Yeah, it's intimidating as all get out. But I'd also like to point out something else about the Sonic 2 box art that is a little less intimidating. When they...
Don't mind me, I'm just looking up the Sonic 2 box art.
When they were drawing Eggman, I don't think they realized he doesn't actually have a beard.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that.
So it looks less like Robotnik's trying to destroy the 2, and more like Yosemite Sam is trying to destroy the 2, if you know what I mean.
Wascally Hedgehog! I said Wascally, even though that's Elmer Fudd, but you know what I mean.
Dang blasted hedgehog.
That dang blasted hedgehog! I'll blast him!
I dare you to step across this line.
Okay, you rascally varmint!
Yep.
Okay, how about this line?
Yep.
I keep saying wascally, I don't know why. I think I'm infected with the Fudds.
That's fair. That's something, though. While we're looking at Robotnik, finding them on his radar, I guess. Let's talk about Sonic and his character at this point in time. Outside of, what the comic gave him. When they were making Sonic, the person they looked to the most, for inspiration, was Mickey Mouse. Because Mickey Mouse is Disney, and Disney is profit. However, inadvertently, they designed a character and a nemesis that would fit the Bugs Bunny mold better. And they never really capitalized on that, did they?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure why. Well, I mean, it's probably because Mickey Mouse is way more successful than Bugs Bunny is, so I guess they just didn't necessarily know.
But it's interesting, because the closest they came was Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was just trying to crib off Looney Tunes in general.
Yeah. Although, actually, to be fair, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog was an American-made television show.
True.
Whereas Sonic was just kind of a collaborative project in Japan.
Yeah, but...
And it just had a very heavy localization process.
Yeah, Sonic is a wisecracking, smart aleck character. He's very sure of himself and very witty, and he always gets the drop on Robotnik, despite the fact that Robotnik is an actual genius.
Well, they don't say he has 300 IQ for nothing. Well, lately they do for nothing, but that's another story.
But yes, really, Sonic and Robotnik fit the Bugs mold perfectly, especially the shorts where he was going up against Wile E. Coyote. You remember those?
Oh, yeah, that happened.
So yeah. It's interesting that they never really capitalized on that outside of, again, Adventures, and that's just Looney Tunes, the show, but with Sonic characters.
Incidentally, we never did find out who was faster, Roadrunner or Sonic. Although we did sort of get an answer to who's faster, the Flash or Roadrunner.
Now here's something fun. Archie Sonic is broken. Like, super broken. So broken that Barry Allen, the Flash, had to do something that Barry Allen, the Flash, swore never to do because it breaks the timeline and results in Flashpoint to win a death battle against him.
Yeah.
Like, that's the level of broken we're dealing with here.
But anyway.
But yeah. So, on with the story, Robotnik has found the Freedom Fighters on his monitor. And now...
I just cleaned that monitor.
Now cut the monitors, because we're off to see what the Freedom Fighters are up to. They're on the outskirts of Knothole, and they're trying to find the source of the leak. But they are in range of the spy satellites, so of course, they brought everyone. Now, at this point, Antoine didn't have any kind of accent, so he just kind of talks normally in this miniseries, so that's fun.
But I will do my best to provide the worst French accent.
Of course. I would not have it any other way.
Don't be a fool, Tails. Only a warrior of my caliber is qualified. Jerry Lewis.
I will point out, though, if actual Antoine was saying that line from the show, he wouldn't say foolish, he'd say fuelish. Because he said fuel instead of fool in the show.
Oh, okay, my bad. Let me try that again. Don't be foolish, Tails. Only a warrior of my caliber is qualified. The end.
I'm afraid Ant's right, little buddy. He's the one who should go.
Now I shall prove to you that I am no stuffed shirt.
Maybe not, but you're still a wet blanket.
You
I will point out that this is the biggest puddle I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's like a mini lake.
God damn.
Yeah, he is deep in that. Like, he's...
Yep.
I mean, granted, Antoine's not that tall, but, like, still.
Oh, yeah. And I also like to point out that at this point, Antoine's hair is actually hair.
Actually, I love that Antoine's just, like, 80% forehead. Which is just me.
Yep. Antoine has a lot of forehead. He also doesn't have a lot of hair at this point because, according to the actual book, this is about the time he starts pulling it out because he's getting frustrated with Sonic's antics.
Match!
Yep. Yes.
I, too, pull my hair out when I deal with Sonic's antics.
Yes. Eventually it grew back, but for a while he would wear a toupee. But yeah.
I think you'll find it's pronounced toop.
So yes. So the cause of the leak is a bunch of weeping willow trees. Trees that are neither willows or, stands.
Did you say stand?
Yes, and I meant that stand.
They can't see me pose.
Stand of power.
Okay, so this is like really off topic, but seeing all this Sega reminds me of Sega Ta Sanshiro.
Oh,
and
yeah.
his and Segata's actual son, who he's done actual commercials with.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this really, really funny moment where, like, Segata's son is, like, holding, Segata in his hand while he's, like, defeated him,
Yeah.
to prove his worth. And, like, there's this really funny sequence of events where, like, Segata is like, "You have made me proud, my son." And he keeps repeating the word father in the exact same tone over and over and over again. Like 6 times. And it's the funniest shit ever.
Oh, jeez. That's great.
Oh my god. Also, according to the flashback of that commercial, Segata and I guess ended up not marrying Sakura-chan. Or maybe Sakura-chan just got a makeover, I don't know.
And more than likely, because if they were doing a flashback, they would have had to get an actor that looked like how Sakura-chan looked back then.
Well, no, it was an illustration, I thought. I thought it was an illustration. I need to look it up.
They were probably using models for reference at that point, though.
True. You can find if you really want to know what this off-topic, like, tangent was all about, you could find it pretty easily on YouTube.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so, anyways, Weeping Willows, puns aplenty. Next page, we gotta show this because it involves something classic from Sonic 1.
Are you putting up the page, or?
Yeah, I'm getting it right now.
Oh, okay.
Sorry this takes so long, folks, but,
Oh, you're good. Oh, yeah, also, yeah, it was an illustration.
okay. Odds are good that either the model they used for reference didn't look enough like her, or they just didn't do a good job of translating her over to the page. But yeah. So anyways...
Well, given how the rest of these have gone, I'm gonna assume that they used very early design documents. Also, he uses the ball and chain from the first Sonic game.
Ah, yes. Attack!
Brack. I could use some.
So yeah, Robotnik shows up with a buzz bomber for an ambush. Now,
Only a single buzz bomber? Why Dr. Robotnik? It's like you're not even trying anymore. And before any of you ask, I go back and forth between Robotnik and Eggman.
I usually just say Robotnik.
But for this, I'm usually gonna go for Robotnik, because when I see classic Robotnik, I can't help but say Robotnik.
I usually go with Robotnik because that's his name.
So
It's
funny, in Generations, he's like, "Nobody calls me that anymore," and I'm like, "That's your name, though."
Yeah, it's not like Sonic, who got a legal name change to Sonic, because there is no way he was named that as a baby.
Yeah, it's not like his name is actually Maurice.
You say that, but it isn't. Maurice is his middle name in this book, not his actual name.
Oh, yeah. What was his first name again?
Ogilvy.
Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious?
Yep. Ogilvy.
I kind of love and hate that.
I don't know how to say it, so I'm glad it's not.
Yeah.
Although I will say, Sonic having an actual middle name, I kind of can get behind that. Mostly because having his middle name be The is kind of tried and played out at this point.
He's like, yeah, I always thought his middle name was The.
I thought your middle name was
Also,
The.
I just want to point out that show was way too good for kids.
Well, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many jokes would fly right over their heads. Don't worry, I bought the extended warranty, but you're the manufacturer. I knew I shouldn't give myself a receipt. Like, oh my god, I lost it to that one.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite ones is, I got a ticket. I'll fight in court, but I don't think they're going to take Gotta Go Fast as a health issue.
And then there's an entire point in the Robot City where Sonic gets really mad about the layout of the streets. It's like, why does everything have to be a junk handle? Why can't I just make a left?
Tails, I swear, if you've been mistaking T brackets with I brackets this entire time, so help me. This is why I hate building things from IKEA.
Yep.
Oh
Just
my
an
God.
entire episode where Robonic's doing his thing, and the Sonic crew are having trouble with a Jurgen.
Fucking, I don't know. Were the writers just like not having any of it that day and just decided to just write gold?
We're gonna use this show to vent about things we hate. Comedy gold.
Just like, wow, this is really fucking. It's just like it's like Vlad the Impaler when he discovers marshmallows.
Yeah.
Hey, these are pretty fucking good.
Yep. So yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
So yes, Robotnik chases Sonic with the wrecking ball, while the other Freedom Fighters just dart away from Buzz Bomber, who just stops chasing them at some point, while Antoine hides in a bush.
As the French are to do. That's racist. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm sure
That's really racist. I'm sorry.
I'm sure Jordan would agree with you.
Yeah. What, of them hiding or the racist part?
Of them hiding.
Oh, okay.
You gotta remember, British people do not like the French.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, so...
Aurora doesn't mind them, but she's diet British, so she didn't count.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyways...
Love you, Aurora!
We love you. Anyways, Robotnik chases Sonic with a wrecking ball, knocks over a tree, and Sonic starts to retreat to a well, where Rotor proceeds to repeat the word well several times. This is supposed to be a joke, but if you actually heard it out loud in dialogue, you would hate him.
Well.
Yeah. Well.
Sounds like a very...
Well now.
It sounds like he's trying to start like the whitest rap in the world. Well. 9/11 was a conspiracy from our government. Word.
Oh jeez. Let's not get too far down that road.
Yeah. What? It's just me going through my expertly timed, crafted, and well-rhymed rap skills. Because as we all know, well rhymes with bullshit.
Yes. Now,
Anyway.
on the next page, Rotor points out that Sonic is running towards the well. Again. Okay. In this well, Sonic hit
Why do
a
you
magic
keep saying
ring.
that, Boomer?
Because that's where Sonic's heading, Sally. To the well! Where Sonic has hidden one of his magic rings. I'd like to point out,
Aha! Magic exists!
I'd like to point out that, yes, magic does exist. Sonic is one of those weird series that is both fantasy and sci-fi at the same time. We call it in the business sci-fi fantasy.
Or Star Wars.
That too!
Say your prayers, Sonic! I was kind of trying to do a fusion of, like, Robotnik and, like, Bebop and Rocksteady.
And Joe Pesci, apparently.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Robotnik.
Funny how? Like I'm a clown? Do I amuse you?
I can imagine Robotnik being played by Joe Pesci.
Yeah. You know, that's actually not too bad of casting. I mean, Jim Carrey does fine, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Joe Pesci can't do it nowadays, but...
What do you mean I can't do it? Like, what are you saying? Like, I can't act? Like, you think I'm a clown? Do I amuse you?
No,
I actually don't do that bad of a Joe Pesci, anyway.
The whole reason Joe Pesci can't do it nowadays is because Seika would never pay his prices.
Oh, no, yeah, no.
Like, he was in The Irishman.
Wait. Are you saying Jim Carrey is cheaper than Joe Pesci?
Well, Jim Carrey wasn't in The Irishman.
Oh, true.
Jim Carrey was also coming back from a break from acting at that time.
Yeah. I think he wanted to, like, help raise someone's kids or something. I don't remember.
He was doing something like that. He was also focusing on his art career.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, so Sonic gets his ring after a very brief scare where he's forced to try to find the ring in the well. Why he put the ring in the well, we will never know.
Especially when he can't swim.
That's something, actually, I need to bring up. In the early comics and the early TV shows, they did not remember, or they didn't think, that Sonic couldn't swim. They knew there was a water level, and part of it took place underwater, probably, but they probably didn't think much further than that.
They also probably didn't necessarily realize that, because in, reality, the hedgehogs can swim just fine.
Yeah. Sonic not being able to swim and being afraid of water is an informed quality that wasn't really written down at first.
Yeah. Yuji Naka literally just had an idiot moment and didn't think hedgehogs couldn't swim.
Yeah. So yeah.
Which you'll be seeing a lot of Yuji Naka's idiot moments later on in his career, but that's another story for another time.
And another show. But yeah. So yeah. So
like that fat guy's Twitch channel where we just go off on random tangents.
Yes. So, the magic rings in the comic work like the magic rings in Sad AM. They give Sonic a power boost. Now, if we go to the next page, we will see how Sonic uses this power boost. And, it has to be seen to be believed. Oops.
Oh God, I forgot about this.
Yep, here it comes. As soon as I grab the correct page. So yeah, Sonic jumps through the ring, and
oh no, he killed him.
Just knocks the wrecking ball on top of Robotnik's ship.
Shit, Robotnik! Time to die!
Robotnik, then being light as a feather suddenly, gets carried away, barely gripping on to Buzz Bomber's stinger, proving once and for all that Robotnik is one of the strongest characters in Sonic the Hedgehog. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Also, he's as graceful as a drunk swan.
Yep.
Look at those fucking legs. Clearly that's a man who don't skip leg day.
I know. I mean, in this image right here, he actually has the build of a male ballerina. One of the larger ones.
Yeah. I used to take ballet.
I mean, he has the calves for it.
My favorite show was Angelina Ballerina.
I mean, look at those calves.
My calves can crush your skull, Sonic.
But yeah, so Robotnik...
No wonder he's faster than Sonic.
Yep. So Robotnik gets away. And Sonic vows vengeance, and then buries Antoine in the ground with Rotor. Because Sonic is nothing if short of an asshole in the early days.
Hey, do you think we could make stuffed shirt plants if we put fucking Antoine in there?
Yeah.
Hey, why don't you suck on my French cock, Sonic?
So yeah, that's something that not a lot of people like about the early days of the franchise. Sonic is an asshole to pretty much a lot of people. Everyone in Sonic the comic.
Hey, that's something that carried over to the modern Sonic.
Well, kind of. Sonic's really only an asshole to people he doesn't quite like.
Which, alright, fair enough. Hey, I'm also an asshole to people I don't like.
Yeah, he's an asshole to Robotnik, and he's an asshole to Jet. But Jet is also one of the only characters that can actually make Sonic angry. So that's hilarious.
Yeah, he's actually, like... It's kind of interesting, yeah.
They wanted to make a sports rival for Sonic, and ended up making the only character that can make Sonic angry.
Seeing Sonic, like, genuinely mad is interesting.
Oh, yeah. Like, not even Shadow or Knuckles made Sonic mad.
Like, they were rivals in their own, like, way, but, like, they never, like, cross that line, you know?
Yeah, you know, Knuckles more made Sonic exasperated and annoyed than mad. If only
And when they were
because
trying to, like, peg Silver as a sort of rival, like, yeah, Sonic got mad there a little bit, but, like, he forgives him pretty quickly.
yeah. Well, in Sonic 06, Sonic doesn't actually get mad at Silver. He just gets annoyed that Silver's doing this when he has other things he needs to be doing.
Yeah. So that's kind of the
this
closest
book.
outside of Jet.
In this book, on the other hand, because Sonic's allowed to be much more fluid of a character, Silver actually does get Sonic angry. Angrier than Jet ever did, even.
Yeah. Where he drags Silver all the way to the fucking...
Don't spoil it.
Oh, yeah. Spoilers.
You will get there when we get there.
But it's a pretty great scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's especially cathartic when you hated... For someone like me who hated Silver in 06.
It's cathartic.
I like the character now. It's just in 06 he was obnoxious.
It's cathartic for people who've been following the book since the beginning as well, following Antoine's character progression as well, because it shows how far him and Sonic's relationship has matured.
Yeah.
Like, Sonic and Antoine, by the time the book ends its original continuity, are basically best friends. To the point where
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
to the point where Antoine makes him his best man at his wedding.
Oh, that's cute.
Yep.
Alright, that's kind of cute. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a sucker for, like, writing like that.
Yep. Speaking of the Habsburgs...
But I know, it's fucking... Video games make you violent my ass, I'm a fucking pussy.
So, yeah. Speaking of the Habsburg, up next is the royal family tree of Mobius, which has been cut down by Robotnik.
Ouch.
It's like, Ken Penders would later take this idea and actually make a family tree. Of course, Ken Penders, being a good idea man, but a poor execution man, put it upside down.
I'm getting some Winnie the Pooh flashbacks, and I don't know why.
You're thinking of the Tigger movie.
Yeah. Had a nice song. I don't remember much of the movie because I didn't watch it since I was like 2, so.
It's pretty good. It has Tigger get sick of everyone's shit and call them out on it.
As he deserves, because Tigger's the best fucking character.
Yeah. Here's the thing,
Yeah,
though.
I was a Tigger growing up.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. He's only calling Rabbit out, really, because everyone.
Well, Rabbit's an asshole.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Everyone else did what they did, understandably, to try to help him. So.
Well, except Eeyore. Eeyore is okay. Actually, it's funny because like I grew up as Tigger, but now I'm like more of an Eeyore.
Eeyore is one of my mom's favorite characters ever.
Yeah. No, I like Eeyore.
Yes.
Let me think. Sorry, weird tangent. Anyway.
So we're on to Sonic's 6-speed settings, which I'm not going to show on screen. Because it involves a joke about Carl Lewis and King Richard that no one will get.
Yeah, the early books had a lot of weird jokes.
Weird pop culture references, and some of them weren't even pop culture references in the 90s.
Yeah. Also, there were some like weird ideas that didn't like pan out, as we'll see later on.
Oh yeah. However,
Which sometimes happens with like early development syndrome.
oh yeah. However,
Like or TV Tropes calls it early development weirdness.
early installment weirdness, yeah.
Or early installment weirdness.
But yeah, I will point out the 6-speed settings are number 1, subsonic for underwater undercover work. Understand?
Yes, subsonic.
Once again, showing that Sonic not being able to swim and being afraid of water was an informed trait.
Also, he looks like he just ate... I know he's holding his breath, but it looks like he just ate something sour.
Oh yeah. Number 2 is ultrasonic to look dashing while dashing. That's where the Carl Lewis joke that no one will understand comes in.
I don't even think people would understand it back then.
Yep. Number 3, Supersonic, when he's got a need for a bit more speed. Number 4...
Remember, cheetahs never prosper.
Number 4...
it's funny because he's like racing with the cheetah. It's like he's faster than a cheetah, and like cheetahs never prosper, so that's kind of racist.
Yeah. Number 4, Transonic, for passing fancy. Trans rights are human rights, but the joke they went with for this is him stealing the crown from King Richard, the NASCAR racer. The problem with this joke is the character in the car looks nothing like Richard Petty. The car looks nothing like his Plymouth Firebird.
It looks like just a normal car.
Yeah. If you're going to have a King Richard joke, you need to show the big tail fin of his car. Because otherwise, just putting 43 on a regular car doesn't do it.
Actually, what's funny about this is that when I first read this with Jacob, I had no idea what the fuck they were talking about because I don't really watch racing, so I had to ask Jacob. It was like, what is this supposed to be?
Yeah, it's a reference to Richard Petty, King Richard.
Okay.
And the only reason I know that is because I watched Cars.
Oh, is that who the fucking Duke was based on?
Yeah, the King.
Okay.
Yep.
It was like, huh. So that's what that was supposed to be.
In fact, the wreck he goes through in the end of the movie is almost identical to one Richard Petty had happen to him.
I wonder if he voiced the character.
I'm pretty sure he did, actually.
Let me check this.
I'm checking right now. Let's see, the king. Yeah, he did.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So
They
yeah,
actually got Richard Petty to do it. Now
Also-
you mentioned, huh? Yeah, I never knew that because, again, I'm not like a racing guy, so.
oh yeah. Also, no
Look at
racing.
that, even the car looks like, his car looks like the Duke. Now that I'm seeing, like, photos.
Oh yeah. It was a Superbird.
Anyway, yeah, sorry.
It was a Superbird, a heavily modified Roadrunner.
Gotcha.
Now, in most racing games with realistic cars, none of them, I mean none of them, will include the Superbird. I don't know why. It's one of the coolest cars out there, in my opinion.
Is it a licensing thing? Because that does
No,
affect cars.
it's not. Because they have other Plymouth cars in it.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's like really weird. Anyways, number 5 is Hypersonic. Up to twice the speed of sound. Don't mock me out. I don't think that pun really landed.
That joke was about as funny as my self-esteem.
Yeah. So yeah, number 6
Whatever
is...
that means.
Oh yeah. Number 6 is Warp Sonic. It's light speed, a third faster than your regular bulb.
You know, I'm certain there was a joke there, but it's just like the bathrooms in the Enterprise. It's there, but you're never gonna find it.
Yep. And they also said, don't forget the Sonic Spin, where he can buzz through anything. This is a reference, of course.
I'm feeling spine and dandy.
It's a reference, of course, to the fact that when you roll into a ball, you can crash through some walls in Sonic 1.
You know, at least there was like an understandable, like, common joke. I mean, it wasn't funny, but like it was at least a joke.
Yeah. So yes, and next up, we'll show off Robotnik's Badniks. Let me grab the page for you. This is a full-page spread of Robotnik's Badniks. Robotnik didn't have many Badniks back then, so it's not going to be a packed spread, but there is going to be someone there that if you only played Sonic 1 and didn't really look into it otherwise, you would not recognize.
Waiting for you to pull up the page before I say anything.
I pulled up the page.
Okay. Again, the Twitch is delayed, so.
Yes.
So yeah. You may, if you played Sonic Mania, however, you may recognize one of these, Badniks, because they brought them back specifically for that section.
Splats. was supposed to be in Sonic 1. It was fully programmed and everything. You can even put him down in debug mode, but was cut for unknown reasons.
Maybe they couldn't find a good place to put him. Maybe it was just time, or I don't know. But yeah, he was not. Yeah, despite being in the game's code and even being programmable to a certain extent, you won't find him anywhere in the vanilla game.
Yes, you might also notice that there is a Badnik missing from this lineup. Technically two, but they're basically the same. That's right. Neutron's not here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. Also, there's a early SWAT bot right over there.
You can tell it's an early SWAT bot because of the colors.
And also the helmet is slightly different, but yeah.
No, it's not actually different. It's just the way it's been drawn.
Oh, gotcha.
Early SWAT bots were white with gray accents. SWAT bots in the Final Sat AM show, however, were completely black with blue highlights.
Interesting little factoid. And this is kind of off topic, but still the same idea of the topic. So bear with me. In Avatar: The Last Airbender, there is a sequence where where they go to the North Pole, where they're discussing strategies against the Fire Nation. One character, I think the prince or something, or the son of the one of the very important person in the tribe, is wearing what we're led to believe is old Fire Nation armor. But in actuality, it really is old Fire Nation armor because that was our Fire Nation armor concept art that they decided to reuse for that sequence.
Neat.
So, yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know.
But yeah. So yes, these are the Badniks. You will see a few of them in early issues. Orbinaut, Motorbug, Caterkiller sometimes, Burlbot other times, but the one you'll see the most, actually, is Crabmeat. So get used to Crabmeat.
We saw him earlier, too.
Yeah. Robotnik has his own personal Crabmeat assistant in the comic.
I guess you could say he's a total grump.
Yes. So yeah. Now,
moving on
to the next page after an advertisement for the Sonic games on Game Gear.
Oh, fucking Jesus. Oh, fucking Jesus. Oh, fucking Jesus. Oh, no, not the Game Gear. Oh, God, not the Game Gear. It's following me, Jacob. Get away. Away.
Yeah, don't worry. Sonic Chaos gives you the spin dash.
Oh, thank fucking God. Okay, so anyway.
On to Sonic the Hedgehog in Oh No Robo No Mo Mobo. Now, I'm going to bring up the page while Tyler attempts to say that like Mojo Jojo.
Oh no Robo, no Mo Mobo.
Very nice. Very nice.
I can do a pretty good Mojo Jojo.
Oh, yeah.
Also, did you pull up the page?
I have pulled up the page.
Okay, dog.
Yes, that's Mutsky.
Also, just normal, dog. Not, anthropomorphized. Just dog.
I mean, if Mickey can have Pluto.
Yeah, but Goofy's also a dog, so that's kind of weird.
And we're gonna get a dog character later on that's also anthropomorphized. His name is Sleuth Doggy Dog.
Maybe this dog is just brain damaged, like Charmy.
Let's not bring that up.
I know, I'm being an asshole.
Yeah, because we're actually gonna have to have a serious conversation about that when we actually get to it.
Yeah, although actually, okay, to get this out of the way, Ian Flynn has apologized for it, so there we go.
Yes. And considering you're not going to be there for that issue, it's probably good that you got that out of the way.
Yeah. No, I'm just making a joke because I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
Do not bully Ian Flynn about it.
Yeah. Now, you want to know who you can bully? NFTs. You can bully NFTs all you want.
Bully the shit out of those fucking imbeciles that fucking do that shit.
It is always morally right to bully NFTs.
Do your patriotic duty, ladies and germs.
Yes. Anyways, so Chuck's Chili Dog Stand, where Chuck serves chili dogs. This is before they decided that Uncle Chuck would be a scientist. He was just a character design they had planned to use. By the time,
it's literally just Sonic with a mustache, and I know it's eyebrows, but because of the mono eye, it looks like a unibrow.
Yep. So yeah, Chuck would become a scientist in the show when it actually started airing, but here he's just a humble chili dog vendor.
Hey, he could be both, you don't know.
Well, he does become both in the comic, but that's for reasons. Here, this is a origin story that is about to be retconned as soon as the book actually begins in earnest.
Very comic booky, the more I think about it.
Yep. So, Sonic's original job before he started fighting against Robotnik was delivery boy for Uncle Chuck. That's why there is a sign that says, "We deliver and how" on the wall. Now, once again...
Well, that if that was a question.
Yeah.
And how?
Yes. Yeah. So, once again, we have the same team on writing, pencils, coloring, inks, letters, and the editor, Daryl Edelman. Daryl Edelman will not be sticking around very long.
What happened with him?
He was only, I believe he was only the editor for the miniseries, because it was a quick thing they were doing that they didn't think would become an actual series.
Well, look where that got him.
Yeah. Yeah, got them the world record for longest running licensed book under one publisher.
Well, those days are over.
Well, yeah, but...
Well, technically the longest license is Conan the Barbarian, but...
That has changed publishers so many times, though.
Yeah.
That's why I included that qualifier.
If we're counting, like, different, like, publishers, but still under the same IP, then Conan still wins.
Though Sonic is catching up.
Yeah.
Like, it is very close. Conan is currently not actually printing a book, so...
Yeah, and I don't think Transformers is too far behind.
Transformers isn't too far behind, if only because they started printing a lot of Transformers books.
Oh, yeah. Like, IDW, I think that's, like, there's, like, 7 different, like, book series under Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
And IDW.
Yep.
Not counting, like, crossover miniseries and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Because Transformers has, like, a stupid amount of crossovers.
Yeah. Now, I will point out that longest running doesn't mean best selling.
Yeah, no. In fact, actually, something I learned the other day, TV producers actually prefer, like, something that gets, like, mediocre ratings but lasts a long time because it's just something on television.
Oh, yeah.
Which is why The Simpsons is still on today.
Yep. So, yeah. This is not a knock against any of the Sonic books, but they were never, ever gonna break #1 on the chart. If only because the entirety of the time they were running, they were releasing against Marvel and DC output.
Yeah. And it wasn't like a property like Transformers, which surprisingly did break the top 10s. Even under Dreamwave Productions, which I hate for Dreamwave Productions, but that's another story for another time.
Oh, yeah, we might get into that if I ever decide to do Transformers reviews.
Yeah. Because all I'm going to say about that is, fuck Pat Lee. Fuck him. I hate him.
Him and his brother.
Yes.
But yeah. Anyways, so yeah, Sonic was topping...
Also, wear a shirt.
Yeah, Sonic was in the high charts for most of his run. He was just never going to top them.
Yeah. Yeah, he was still making pretty impressive numbers, especially for a property that isn't like Marvel or DC.
Oh, yeah. The comics sold well is the point. All the comics sell well. Even
yeah,
IDW.
Like it was that's why Sega was kind of pissed off about it, because this was still like very profitable for Sega.
Oh yeah. Sega makes money off this.
Yeah.
That's why they were so quick to get IDW on it once Archie, pissed them off and made them not renew the contract.
Yeah, because IDW actually handles the properties.
Yep. So, since IDW is a company that is built entirely on licensed properties, they were kind of the perfect choice for Sonic.
Kind of like Boom Studios, the more I think about it.
Yeah. So the IDW comics, despite what some people on the internet will tell you, actually do sell very well. To the point where the first issue of Sonic IDW had to receive a third printing.
God damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah. The only other comics that have ever had a third printing were all Marvel or DC fare. Or, Ninja Turtles, because they didn't actually print a lot for the first and second printings of those.
Well, Ninja Turtle comics still, do pretty well.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's funny because a lot of people forget that Ninja Turtles started out as a comic book.
Oh, yeah. The first issues of Ninja Turtles probably had to have many printings because it was an indie book.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it did surprisingly well, and to the point where they wanted to do, an action figure line, but, the toy company, they said, would do it, but only if there was a TV show attached to it.
And thus, history was made.
Yep, and thus a genuine worldwide phenomenon was made. Everybody forgot the origin to because everybody remembers the TV show.
Yep. I'd also like to point out, though, Ninja Turtles is an interesting case to put against Sonic. Because, despite Ninja Turtles being around longer, their trajectory is pretty similar. They started out very simple. Characters weren't really that much distinguishable outside of their roles. As time went on, they slowly started to add more traits until we get to Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which has the characters at their most different from each other, yet strongest character-wise.
Yeah. And also, it's kind of interesting to see, the DNA, kind of evolve over the years. Because, believe it or not, Rise of the Ninja Turtles was not the first series to introduce the Turtles as, not directly biological brothers. That was actually Next Mutation, I believe.
Yep. And, it's also the first it's also not the first series to, put Raph in charge.
Yeah.
Though it is the one to run with it the most, and they're only running with it the most because it's a spiritual prequel series.
And if you want to get technical about it, I guess TNT also kind of showed Raph as the sort of leader.
It's actually really good. Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is good. It shows that whoever was handling that show understood what they were doing. It's just that it was marketed so horribly. And there was a big hurdle to get over in episode 1.
Yeah, also I heard it suffered from pretty bad time slots.
Oh, it gets worse. Halfway through airing season 1, they moved it to Nicktoons Network.
Oh.
But yes, as I was saying, Sonic has a pretty similar trajectory as Ninja Turtles. Their characters started out as pretty bland, basic one-note. This is Sonic, he's the good guy. He's fast and has an attitude. This is Robotnik, he's the bad guy. He's evil. And that's really all we knew about the characters. But as time went on...
Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but as time went on, more character traits were established, dynamics were established, more characters were introduced to allow dynamics to establish themselves, and eventually we got Sonic as we know him today, where he does have a character, it's just very rare that they acknowledge it and stick with the base traits, because that's the easiest thing to do.
Well, and part of that is just how Sega handles these things.
Oh, yeah.
But
Sonic is, surprisingly, not the best character in Sonic. This is partly to do with the fact that Sega very rarely utilizes his better traits, and partly to do with the fact that Sonic is kind of bare-bones basic bitch.
Yeah.
Whereas characters like Shadow or Knuckles or even Amy have a lot more going for them.
I've actually read an interview it's actually not an interview. It was more of like a fan experience, telling them about how they met Ian Flynn. And Ian Flynn just like expressing like genuine disappointment that he couldn't write. Like he wasn't like outright disparaging Sega, but like he was just kind of disappointed that he didn't get to write Shadow the way he really wanted to.
Which is interesting. We'll circle back to this when we get it closer to the end, but because Ian Flynn, writing characters, seems to have the best grasp on who they are. Because Sonic as a character in this comic evolved beyond what he was in the games to have a pretty solid three-dimensional personality. It just had to...
And again, as the series goes on, there are obvious, like, ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
Plenty of downs.
Oh, yeah. There was a period there where 3-dimension was a fever dream. 2-dimension was a fever dream at some points for some characters as well.
Fucking cardboard was a fucking fever dream.
But yeah, that's for later. Sonic becomes a well-rounded character in this book. We're going to leave it at that because we want you to be able to experience that journey with us.
Anyway, enough looking at the dog's ass.
Yeah. Moving on to the next page where Sonic finally arrives. Now, I will say, I have praised Scott Shaw on the Mohawk. I will have to knock a little bit of score for the first panel here.
I mean, hey, he's gotten like 9 out of 10 so far, so it ain't that bad.
Yep. So yeah. But yeah, Sonic shows up.
Yeah, it looks fucking stupid.
Yep. Sonic shows
up. Looks like
a
floppy hat.
The sorting hat, of course.
Gryffindor!
Oh, jeez. Let's not get into that.
Don't act like Sonic wouldn't be placed in Gryffindor.
Let's not get into that. I actually went through this with Jordan a long time ago.
Oh, God.
I also went through...
Uncle Chuck doesn't wear gloves, and that's just weird.
Yes. I also went through which tarot cards correlate to which Sonic characters. Sonic's the sun.
Alright.
So anyways...
That kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, Sonic shows up and praises Chuck for the new shoes that he invented for him. Frictionless sneakers. They don't burn out because of Sonic's super speed. I would like to point out this is not how frictionless things work, but we're gonna let it slide because it's a comic book.
Look, if fucking JoJo Part 8 can have fucking Josuke steal someone's friction, I'm gonna fucking let this slide.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, no. Flash's suit is also frictionless, but that's a bit different. It still has some level of grip. Also, the Speed Force plays a part in how Flash does things.
Because in the Flash, that's how everything is answered. The Speed Force.
So, from what I can understand, is the Speed Force is what gives Flash super speed, and he actually doesn't have it on his own, whereas Sonic is just really fast. Which means Sonic has to...
None of the Flashes are, like, fast on their own, except for, the first Flash. I forget his name.
Jay Garrick.
Yeah. Who is amazing, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Most of the Justice Society of America is amazing.
I love them all. Well, Jay Garrick especially, because he is just, like, a cinnamon roll.
Oh, yeah. And then there's... Alan Smithy.
Yeah. Also, Alan Scott as Green Lantern is best Green Lantern outside of John Stewart.
Scott. Alan Smithy's the fake director name they had to retire.
Yeah.
Did you ever actually hear why they had to retire that?
Why is that?
Somebody made a comedy called an Alan Smithy movie. That was so bad and terrible that the name Alan Smithy was forever tainted.
Yeah, isn't that like a pseudonym that directors will use when they disown movies?
It was. but that Alan Smithy movie ruined it for them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so, like, it's actually not uncommon. It's not that uncommon that directors will disown their own movies.
Yep. If you see a director you've never heard of before and never heard of after work on a movie, it's probably a pseudonym.
Yeah, you'll mostly see it in, like, pornography films where people don't feel like using their real names.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, with certain exceptions, but...
Yeah. Surprisingly, Big Dick Johnson is not actually his name.
No, really?
So, yeah.
But yeah, some porn, like, directors or porn stars will, like, accept their, what fame they've got, essentially, and just kind of embrace it, but others just kind of, like, I don't really want to be in the spotlight.
Oh, yeah.
So... Anyway, it kind of just depends on the individual.
Oh, yeah. But back to the story. Sonic is praising Uncle Chuck, and Uncle Chuck gets a call for an order of 200 chili dogs.
Wow, that almost sounds too good to be true.
Yep, they're rich. Meanwhile, not even 10 feet away, a buzz bomber is putting up a sign announcing Robotnik is the new dictator. Attention! This city is now to be called Robotropolis. From now on, no music, no books, no plants, no games, no dancing, no laughter, no fun. I am your new evil dictator, Dr. Robotnik. Have fun, go to jail.
Do not pass go! Do not collect $200!
I mean, Robotnik does seem to be the type to, play Monopoly like that.
Also, it's funny because he's also played by Jim Carrey in the movie. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Also, as a fast food worker, I gotta say, put some fucking gloves on, dude.
Gloves. Yeah, some kind of hairnet.
Yeah, because your face is like... I could not get away with a fucking beard.
Beard nets are a thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could just wear your... COVID mask, but this was before COVID, so...
Long before. Before.
Funny enough, before COVID, I have a little story. Before COVID, I wasn't feeling well when I had to go to work. So I was like, hey, I need the hours. Can I just, like, wear a mask or something? And my boss was like, no, it would freak people out. Well, I guess my boss was psychic.
Yep. People who don't wear masks are just a pain.
Yeah.
Just wear it. It's not actually hurting you.
Like, people are stupid. Anyway, moving on.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, on the next page, let's just share this one because it's a kind of important page. Here we go. That's right here. Okay, I got it up, so if you want to begin talking about it, you can.
Okay, so, firstly, I feel like Uncle Chuck just came, and I don't feel very comfortable. Also, in the bottom panel, one of the SWAT bots is holding Uncle Chuck like a fucking cat.
Yeah. So,
Uncle Chuck, we must seize the jerk.
Yep. So yeah, Uncle Chuck finishes the 200 chili dogs and Sonic is off like a whip to deliver them. Notice that these chili dogs do not have chili on them.
Fucking Robotnik's face makes me laugh. Oh, mine, you hateful little happy hedgehog.
Ooh, jeez.
Ooh, I'm gonna have fun diddling you.
So, after that, Uncle Chuck is arrested by a SWAT bot for smiling. Mutsky is also arrested for being a dog, I guess.
Maybe he was wagging his tail earlier? I don't know.
Perhaps.
Does that count?
Maybe. So Robotnik has captured Uncle Chuck.
Or maybe Robotnik is just really racist towards dogs. I don't know.
Meanwhile, in Robotropolis, Sonic has reached the place where he's supposed to deliver the chili dogs. It is here where you can really see that this was colored, with actual, physical tools. Look at the smoke. You can see the black lines from the marker.
Huh.
You can also see the spots in Sonic eyes where the color is starting to bleed from his fur. This may have been due to the fact that in order to actually get these pages printed, they had to be shipped to Archie.
That
Like,
makes sometimes that
physically.
happens, especially in the early days.
No. Archie's shipping policy for comic pages ruined some books later on down the line, and I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
However, their scanning technology also ruined a book that I can tell you about now. In order to scan and print the pages, they used a printer. For one issue, for some of the pages, they ran out of red ink.
Oh dear.
So the pages are blue washed.
Ho ho.
Because they were
Ooh.
working on such a strict deadline, they did not have time to reprint these pages.
Ouch.
So the book released with blue wash pages.
And this is why extending deadlines is important.
And the weird thing is, they could have extended the deadline because it wasn't the monthly, it was a mini-series. But they just wanted it out because they wanted the money then and there.
So Archie was just idiots.
Yes. Yeah. So anyways...
Well, that's so second verse same as the first.
So anyway-
Sonic is dealing with a giant cock.
Yep, Sonic arrives and Cluck is the one to answer. Cluck, you can remember from Sat AM, is the bird from the pilot that Snively makes the head go bobbly on.
What?
Yeah, Snively has a remote that messes with Cluck for some reason.
That's weird.
Yes, it is. It's never explained. But, apparently, 200 chili dogs comes out to $300. Sonic is not getting the $300, instead he is getting a wrecking ball.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
But yeah. Now,
Eggman really likes that wrecking ball.
let's do some math here. How much would each chili dog have to be for 200 of them to cost $300? The answer is $1.50.
Sell chili dogs for $1.50. Is that the average price of a hot dog stand? I can't say I've ever been to one in a while.
Most chili dogs nowadays will retail for $4 to $5. Inflation is a bitch.
I've never actually seen a hot dog stand in Chicago.
Yeah, I have never seen one either, but food trucks are the closest alternative I can think of, and they're
I've seen a few food trucks, but never like a hot dog stand.
food trucks price competitively, but still high enough so they can actually run their business.
Yeah. Hell, I see food trucks in Cedar Rapids.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I saw one in Anime Iowa not too long ago.
Yeah. Food trucks are probably the least expensive option you can go to in a city setting.
Yeah. Well, it's affordable compared to fucking con food.
Oh yeah. Also, if you're ever in like a zoo or any other place like that and they have restaurants, don't eat there. Just don't.
Why specifically a zoo, Jacob?
You'll find out later. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
like zoos, parks, stuff like that. They gouge their prices up to, afford the rent of that place.
Yeah, well, the thing that fucks you over with the restaurant business is the rent.
Oh yeah.
That's something that's not discussed a whole lot, but like the thing that really fucks a restaurant over up is the rent.
Yes.
Because landlords are scum fuckers of the fucking planet, and they will increase prices depending on the how much revenue the restaurant gets, or if it's like slow.
That is true.
Yeah. Because again, I will say this until I am blue in the face. Landlords are the scum of the earth. Fuck them.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, on with the show.
On to the next page. Sonic has dodged the wrecking ball.
No Miley Cyrus over here.
Now, Sonic dodging the wrecking ball makes him realize that he's been set up. So he rushes back to try to help Uncle Chuck, only to find Uncle Chuck is gone, and they're tearing down the chili dog to replace it with a toxic dump. End of part 1.
Oh, don't be afraid. That's not a nuclear waste area. That's just Robotnik's toilet.
I mean, that is a biohazard. Speaking of which, if you work in a restaurant environment and you have received only training in preparing food and bagging food and selling food, if they want you to clean a restroom, you have the right to refuse. That requires specialized training and technically is dealing with biohazards.
Yeah.
Unless, it's like sweeping up paper towels into a bin. You can do that.
Like, yeah, anybody can do that. And look, it's not glamorous work, but it's work.
Changing toilet paper is also something you can do without that training.
Yeah.
But if they want you to clean toilets or stuff like that, that's something you can refuse.
Anyway, on with the tour.
Yep. SWAT bots are destroying the chili dog stand. Uncle Chuck and Mutzke are nowhere in sight. What's happening?
The chili dog stand!
Yeah, also, that one's having a little powwow in front of that fire. I don't know what he's doing.
He is having the time of his life.
Yeah, well, he better have it now. SWAT bots have a notoriously low lifespan in this book.
Yeah. And in Sad AM, the more I think about it.
Oh, SWAT bots, despite being big, threatening, and intimidating, are basically just stormtroopers.
Yeah. Which I guess from a certain angle, I guess stormtroopers could be kind of intimidating.
When you have the tools to deal with them, they're not, but when you don't, they are.
Yeah. Actually, there's one thing I can give the Disney trilogy. The stormtroopers are a lot, more menacing.
Yeah, the First Order did a better job training them than the Empire.
Yeah.
The Empire just...
You'd think...
It makes sense, though. The Empire just needed people to look imposing to, maintain their grip. They needed bullies. Whereas the First Order needed soldiers to take back things.
Yeah, exactly. So...
And then, of course, everything just goes to shit.
Then, not Last Jedi. I actually kind of thought Last Jedi was okay, but,
No, Last Jedi, no, that's where the problem starts, actually.
Yeah, that's where all the problem starts, but, I like it more than Rise of Skywalker is what I'm getting at.
I mean, considering the fact that both of them knocked Star Wars Episode 2 out of the worst Star Wars movie spot, I guess you can like Last Jedi more than Rise of Skywalker, because I agree, Rise of Skywalker is the worst of the two.
Let me think. I need to rewatch them again, but I'm still gonna say Attack of the Clones was probably my least favorite.
Of the prequels? Yep.
Of the entire movie, again, I need to rewatch them because I'm having this little Star Wars marathon where I'm just reevaluating.
Well, I can say this. Episode 2, for as bad as it is, does have things that are important happen, and have them happen in a logically consistent way.
I disagree, but we can agree to disagree in this case because let's move on!
Oh, yes. Moving on to Oh No Horomobo, Oh No Momobo Part 2.
Robo bo 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 bo.
This is something the early book liked to do a lot. Split the story into parts, despite the fact they didn't need to because they were all being published in one book.
Maybe the idea was so that way, like, kids could put, like, little bookmarks in them, but, like, it's a fucking comic book.
Yeah.
The whole idea is it so that way it's, like, easier to read.
Yeah. The original miniseries is a slightly longer than normal comic, but regular comics, you have 24 pages. Kids aren't going to put bookmarks in that.
Right.
But, you know.
Or maybe they had plans to make it longer, but because of time constraints, they couldn't, like, do it.
I think I know what was actually going on. They wrote these with the intention of having the parts in different books. Like, you get part 1 this week, and then you get other stories with more parts other weeks. But they didn't have time to actually, make enough stories to justify that.
Or maybe their contract with Sega prevented to do that or something. I don't know.
No, it was more than likely the time constraints not giving them enough time to make enough stories for this to be viable. And they just held on to the hope that at some point they would have enough of a backlog in order for this to be possible. And fun fact, eventually they did have enough of a backlog for that to happen.
Yeah.
After Gallagher stopped really being a main writer and started to fade into the background, though.
Also, it's interesting to note in the beginning of this, the SWAT bot is holding a crowbar, and I really hope Jason Todd isn't in the area.
Oh, yeah. Also, Sonic is very tiny here, or the SWAT bots are gigantic. Sonic is supposed to be 3'2". He should be no less than half of their height if they're going to be a 6-foot tall force.
I guess maybe they did that to make it look more intimidating, but...
Yeah.
But they're really not drawn at an angle to make them look more imposing, so...
No, they look quite ridiculous.
Yeah, or maybe that was the whole thing, like to make it look silly, but...
Yeah, that's the thing. The SWAT bots are an interesting design choice. Because when they're colored the way they are supposed to be, not this black and this gray and white, but actually solid black, they do cut an intimidating silhouette. The spikes on their shoulder, the spike on their head, the fact that they're built like someone who could hurt you. The fact that they march uniformly into position. They are what the droid army wishes it could be, basically.
Droid army.
Yeah. They're threatening looking. The problem is, they're in this book, and Sat AM, where they basically go down with the breeze.
They are about as effective as tinfoil soldiers.
Yep. And nothing illustrates this example more than the next page, which I'm going to put up right now. Because, this is basically SWATbot's lot in life.
Step by step, heart to heart, left, right, left, we all fall down. Toy soldier.
That song is actually really depressing when you think about it.
Yeah, I know it is. It is. I'm just using that to make a joke about how the frail these fuckers are, but it's actually about like intense gang warfare and the effects of how it affects loved ones. And anyway, moving on.
Okay, you were talking about the Eminem one, which is also really depressing, but I was actually talking about the Martika original.
Oh yeah, no, I was talking about the Eminem one, but yeah.
Yeah, the Martika original is basically, what if 99 Luft Balloons was actually about relationships you have with people?
Damn.
Mm-hmm. 99 Luft Balloons is also a really depressing song, despite its upbeat nature.
God, this, this whole thing is just about depressing songs, isn't it?
Yeah, basically.
Like, and I thought the Eminem one, where he's talking about, like, the effects of, like, diss tracks, and then how it eventually leads to like gang wars, and how he has to deal with his friends fighting each other and killing each other for something fucking stupid.
Yep. Of course, it doesn't stop him from making diss tracks. But...
Of course not, because, rap is nothing but the compilation of the greatest hypocritical line. But anyway.
I mean, diss tracks sell.
Yeah.
They sell a lot. I can understand the draw of making one, but he is right. It is a dangerous game to be playing.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's a game they have to play at all to be successful is terrible.
Yeah. Well, because, you know how people in the media are going to respond. Oh my god, that's terrible! Click, 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 click.
Yep.
And give it all the attention in the world, which is really the opposite of what we should be doing, which really says a lot about us as a species, but...
Okay. Like, when that music genre started, it was basically slam poetry, but with a musical talent added to it. It was expression of the soul, and to an extent it still is, but it's become so commercialized. And that hurts me.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be artists out there like Juice WRLD and like, I'm trying to think of other artists, J. Cole and stuff like that, that still like see the art in it.
Yeah.
But like, it's clear to me that it's just way more like commercialized. And if you like that, that's nothing wrong with that, but Also, I just noticed that the fucking robots sing Daisy, Daisy, which is a reference to fucking HAL 9000.
Yeah.
Which that in itself is a reference to the first like song they programmed a computer to sing.
Yep. There are references layer on top of references. When Sonic fights the robots in the first panel, they go snap, crackle, pop, and nobody says Rice Krispies.
Damn. That makes me angry.
I mean, you shouldn't be eating Rice Krispies right now anyways. Despite what the strikers want you to do, it is too dangerous right now to eat Kellogg's products.
Right.
See, strikers want you to buy Kellogg's products to put more stress and demand on them so they can come to the table to work with them. But Kellogg's, in their infinite wisdom, have hired people who are not qualified at all to take over the striking workers' positions, and that has led to inferior quality products, one, but more importantly, products that have not been able to pass safety standards and are still out on the market.
Well, I have a solution for that. Buy them and then throw it in the trash. And set it on fire.
I mean, you could do that if, money wasn't so much of an issue for us at the moment.
True.
It's like, it's just a no-win scenario there.
Because, there's just a no-win it's just a no-win situation. Because fucking corporations are filled to the brim with fucking dickheads.
Oh, yeah.
That don't really understand, the human condition in the slightest. And just only look at the bottom line because capitalism.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't have a problem with capitalism, as the idea itself, but, it's led to fucking, people seeing more value in capital than, how human beings, need, to breathe, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's just led to a lot of unempathetic, dickheads rising into power.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was, a story lately that's showed that CEOs actually show more psychopathic tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, politics with Skullhead Comms aside,
psychological analyzing of people we don't even know aside as well, Sonic takes out the robots and heads back towards Robotnik. One of the SWAT heads reporting that he is on his way. Sonic is camped out by the bushes by Robotropolis, which in the early comics is just a series of industrial buildings, not actually a city.
I mean, early installment weirdness.
Yep. As somebody sneaks up behind him in shadows as their three-fingered hands reach towards him.
Yeah, I wonder who it could be.
It It could be anybody. Everybody in the early comic has 3 fingers.
Oh yeah, because according to Walt Disney, getting rid of that 4th finger really saved them a shitload of money.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not. You'd be actually kind of surprised because drawing hands is really fucking hard.
Yes. The thing about hands is they are mechanically complex, and nothing is more complex than the pinky. Because with the ring and pointer fingers, they're pretty much sitting on the same plane, and you can work those very easily, and the middle finger goes in between them, so there's a guideline. The pinky just dips really hard and is off to the side.
Right. Actually, evolutionarily speaking, we don't even really need our pinky toes.
Nope. So yeah, the pinky is...
Now, I don't know about our pinky fingers, but...
The pinky on its own is superfluous. I do a lot of things subconsciously without using them, picking things up. You only really need the pinky for things you need to get a solid grip on.
Yeah.
Because you need your whole hand for that.
Even then, there are ways around it.
Yep. So yeah, 3 fingers is just more economical. Basically what we're saying. If you want to save money, just cut the pinky off all your characters, just draw them with 3 fingers.
Also, I don't know if you're showing this page on screen. What happens after the page?
Oh no, I will be showing this page because you made part of it an emote on the server.
Well, I don't know if I did that. I thought that was Aurora.
No, she made the emote for you, but you asked her to do it.
Oh yeah, that's right, I did. Because it's just the face that sums up the whole thing now, doesn't it?
Yep. Yep, it is.
And if you watch Mystery Science Theater, you know what kind of expression exactly I'm talking about. Dull surprise!
So yes, the mysterious figure is Sally, who is stopping Sonic from charging into Robotropolis because it's a bad idea. Now, she introduces herself as Princess Sally Acorn and says her father, the king, has been kidnapped by Robotnik. Sonic tries to head off to save the day, but Sally tackles him, leading to the face that is now an emote on our server.
Again, dull surprise!
Yep.
No, don't. Stop. Anything but that.
The Buzz Bombers are patrolling, all 5 of them.
I haven't seen fucking Dull Surprise that amazing since fucking Dreamwave's Transformers comics.
I mean, I've seen Dull Surprise more amazing than that. It's called the entirety of Transformers Energon.
Oh, yeah.
All the Dull Surprise faces in that show are supposed to be a different emotion.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's like, what the hell went wrong?
Energon, that's what happened.
Yeah, and then for the next
show... I know they're supposed to be robots, but, like... They're also living cybernetic organisms that clearly have emotions, wants, and needs.
Yeah, and then when they needed to show extreme emotional reactions, like Megatron yawning, or Inferno being tortured and screaming, they just drew it.
For fuck's sake, fucking Armada had more fucking, character emotions.
That was also drawn, though.
Yeah.
Cybertron...
I think even Cybertron had better...
It did, because they went with a different production company.
Yeah. Because, the CGI in Energon was fucking awful.
I will say this about Cybertron. The company they went with for the CG, I believe it was Studio Gonzo, they needed to let their animators go home more often.
Yeah, I think that can be said for most anime studios. Because the anime industry is fucking terrible, even for fucking shows that I love, like JoJo.
Okay, you're bringing up the actual problems. I was going to bring up a funny one so we didn't get off on another tangent like that.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so they needed to let their animators go home more often because the character Thunderbolt, or Thunderblast, I think it was Thunderblast, one of the only female characters in the show, Had it.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about Thundercracker for a second. I'm like, Thundercracker wasn't in the Unicron trilogy. Well, kind of.
Thundercracker was definitely in Cybertron.
Oh yeah, he was. I was thinking of Armada, where like Starscream took on Thundercracker's colors, but like the toy accidentally called it Thundercracker because they didn't know that that was a different form of Starscream. So they wrote around it by having Starscream say, "I look like Thundercracker."
Yeah. So yes.
Anyway,
So Thunderblast, female Decepticon, animators modeled underneath her chest armor.
oh yeah, I totally forgot about that.
And it
actually.
made it, and it made it in the show.
I don't know how.
I will send a picture to Tyler so he can see.
Oh my goodness.
And I will not be posting it
Why?
on stream because it is not safe for work.
It's pretty. Oh my goodness! I forgot they gave her nipples.
Yep.
And if you're wondering what it looks like, look it up yourself.
Yep.
You can find it pretty easily with a simple Google search.
Yeah.
Why does the robot have... I can understand the robot having pecs or boobs, but why nipples?
Don't ask. So, moving on to the next page after Sally stops Sonic from running straight into an ambush, Sally leads Sonic away to a different part of the outskirts of Robotropolis. It is here we can see the side of Sally's head, and we can see that her hair is a ponytail.
Buzz.
This is a very common character design for female counterparts, apparently, because Tawna also had a ponytail at one point. And then Coco does have a ponytail.
Now Tawna just has a big, fat ass.
Also,
I
a
never
very
said I
nice
didn't
hairdo.
like it.
I like her haircut.
Well, I never said I didn't like it.
I like her haircut in Crash 4, though.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like Crash for Tawna.
Alright.
I think I actually like her better than original Tawna.
I definitely like her better than original Tawna.
Yeah. Well, original Tawna didn't really get anything to do except for kind of Insane Trilogy, but
And also kind of nitro-fueled.
yeah.
But that's besides the point. She was kind of overshadowed by the other members of the Bandicoot female squad.
Yeah.
Because Liz is queen. Anyways,
I can understand.
anyways, they come across what Robotnik is doing to the Mobians he's kidnapping. And the answer to that is he's hypnotizing them.
Ooh.
So Robotnik, he is a master hypnotist apparently.
I didn't know he knew White Zombie.
Now, fun fact about the characters we're seeing here. One of them is a pig with a blue vest. This character would later appear in the comic under the name Hamlin. Ken Penders would lay claim to this character, despite the fact he's right here. Many, many, many issues before Ken would even be hired.
Also, apparently Woody Woodpecker.
Yeah, I don't know about that shoe build fellow. I think he only appears here.
That's odd.
Yep.
Why is it that they only why is it they don't bring back the characters I want to know about?
It's a fair question. He's out front and center proudly. He seems like he'll be important.
Right? Like, he's even in front of Uncle Chuck.
He... Oh my god, he's red. That means he's a red herring.
Dun dun dun!
Oh yeah, it all coming together. He should have been a fish.
Ah. No kidding. Although I guess at this point they wouldn't know how to make Sonic characters like from aquatic areas, even though they would do that later on.
Yeah, much, much, much later on.
They actually found a decent way to do it, but
Yeah. And the Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog show just made everyone mermaids. Yay, mermaids.
Mermaids.
But anyways,
Look, if it's not the One Piece mermaids, I don't care.
yeah.
Or the Little Mermaid mermaids. But anyway.
So yes, as we find out on the next
Also,
page,
the fucking One Piece mermaids are fucking huge.
only Shirahoshi, but that's because of who she is. She's
And also, me and Jordan have had a sneaking suspicion that, what's the creator of One Piece's name?
Oda.
Oda. I have a sneaking suspicion that Oda has a giant woman fetish.
Maybe. I would like to point out, though, he only really started doing, really elaborate big lady designs after he got married.
Yeah, and that's funny because like his wife is not that tall. Like she's about the same height as he is.
Oh, I meant more the other kind of big.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Also, yeah, I'm putting this out in another Twitch of mine, but I'm gonna point it out here. Ever since he married his wife, how he met her was she was a actress in the One Piece theater production, I believe, and she played the character Nami. So yes, he married a Nami cosplayer, and ever since that. More and more of his female character designs, with the exception of like Boa Hancock and Nico Robin, have the same exact facial structures as Nami.
I mean, most of the Amazon tribe don't have the same facial structure as Nami as well.
Yeah, actually, before that point, like, yeah, well, and it's really not that bad. It's only like funny when you notice it.
Uh-huh.
But, like, it's really not that bad. At least it's better than Akira Toriyama's Same Face Syndrome, which is better than some other animes I've seen.
Oh,
but,
shit.
like, Love Life. But, I keep making that joke. Anyway, so, lost my train of thought. Fucking, yeah, so actually he has, like, to Oda's credit, like, his facial... The way he draws, like, different faces is actually not that bad.
Oh, yeah. Now, Oda's better about differentiating faces. I mean, like, Luffy and Shanks started out with the same face, but Shanks eventually developed his own facial structure, which Fairy Tail would steal wholesale, including the hair.
Oh my god! Like, they're not even subtle about it.
No, they're not! It's so weird!
Yeah. Although, a lot of Fairy Tail's character designs are very similar to his old work, Rave Master.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Rave Master and the Fairy Tail would actually have a crossover. In the anime, anyway. I don't know about the manga, but... Although, there is a common feature that the main characters share, and it's actually kind of a sad one because it's also the same thing the artist and writer of the manga series share. Both the main characters of Rave Master and Fairy Tail apparently didn't have parents because the creator didn't have parents either.
Oh.
I'm like, damn. Same.
That's depressing.
Yeah. Shit. What is with this episode and bringing up depressing topics?
I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that we're on a depressing page as Sonic realizes his uncle has been turned into a robot.
And also, Eggman makes a silly face. Which, actually, Eggman makes a silly face is probably how you could sum this whole thing up, really.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I mean... That's the kind of face when he's grabbing Sally in the first panel. That's the kind of face I'd expect from Zenigata when he catches Lupin.
Right? No, I expect another type of face Zenigata would make if he catches Lupin, but that's another story.
That's fair.
Also, Sally is into hair pulling, I guess.
I mean...
Moving on.
Yeah. So
Actually, since her entire body is hair, doesn't that mean, like... Anyway,
Oh, yeah. And a princess. Sonic blames Robotnik for everything, and Robotnik says, well, duh!
Yeah. Yeah, I mean... I think Robotnik is constipated in this panel.
Yeah, no. It does look like
especially the bottom left one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like, stop! I need to poop, but it's not coming out!
Yep, sure. Okay. Alright, so yes, Sonic is, now surrounded by SWAT bots, and Ally says, we're gonna be turned into machines! Even though nobody else has been turned into machines, that's a script and art discrepancy that unfortunately plagues this miniseries. But yeah. So Sonic then becomes a tornado, throwing the SWAT bots, one of whom
yeah, go ahead, sir.
One of whom makes a Wizard of Oz reference.
So this brings up so many questions about the SWAT bots. First of all, SWAT bots have aunts. Does that imply that they have parents too? Is Robotnik their parent? I mean, we know Robotnik. Was Maria Robotnik's sister?
Cousin.
Or okay, yeah. He has a cousin, but does he have a sister?
No, but he does have a brother.
Huh.
Who did have a wife. And then a second wife because the first one died.
I guess that kind of counts as a sister.
And then the second one died too.
But, the SWAT bots are considered, familial? Maybe. But then again, I guess Robotnik programmed a libido into some of his robots.
Robotnik gives his machines emotions just to fuck with them, I guess.
I mean, I guess if I were just spending my time all day making a giant armada, I guess I would get bored too and decide what I could do to fuck with them.
What is my purpose? You fetch the butter.
Oh. Damn.
So yes, Sonic.
You can barely fit into that thing. Shut up! I just need the butter. Get me the butter.
Yep. There we go. But yeah, Sonic's tornado ends up causing a giant distraction and an actual tornado, allowing him and Sally to escape into the forest, where the freedom fighters are. Sally asks if Sonic would care to join them, and Sonic says if it means freedom for my uncle, my dog, and all those other folks, plus another shot at the Robotnik, the answer is yes, which is the most Sonic thing he could say. Then Sonic tells everybody to write in to say if they want to see more. And
well, I think that
people wrote in. People wrote in. So yes, that is basically the end. There's one last page where Sonic shows off his sneakers.
What are those?
Now,
his sneakers.
Now, here's a fun fact about Sonic's shoes. They're actually boots.
Yeah, because they were based off Michael Jackson's boots in the Bad album.
Yep. Those white things, they're not socks, they're actually the cuff of the boot rolled down.
Yeah, and that was based off, Oh, and the straps were very much based off, Michael Jackson's shoes with the belts on them.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Down to the buckle. Yep.
Well, we don't see it in this, but yeah.
So, yeah. Most of the comic will also have Sonic's underside of the shoe just be lines. But eventually he'll start to get patterns on the bottom of his shoes. And that's a lot of detail to be putting into Sonic's shoes. I'm concerned.
You know, the last stream I did, we discussed the Joker's shoes. and how they're selling for like a truckload.
Yes.
It's like, I didn't need to fuck with Batman this whole time. All I had to do was sell my shoes on eBay.
Yep.
Maybe that's how he like pays off all his mooks.
Yep. Now that's the end of the issue 0. I'd give it a solid 3 out of 10. No, 5. I mean 3 out of 5. It's not bad for what it is. It's not that good, but it isn't bad. It is a strong start for what was going to be a funny gag series.
It's fascinating to see the early installments and how things would evolve.
Oh yeah.
From issue 0 all the way to now. Even not just like with comic books, but just like how the series began. But otherwise, there really isn't too much to this. The jokes are... Well, I hesitate to call them jokes, but I guess by technicality speaking, they are jokes. But at the same time, there's nothing really offensive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kids can probably read this and not be mentally scarred, which I guess is a point for that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's more than I could say for the rest of this. And that's more than I could say for some other issues in this series.
Oh, yeah.
The artwork's pretty decent. Again, I'm not going to be too harsh on it because this was the start of a lot of like different ideas for the series, so...
Oh, yeah.
It would all eventually be refined, but as far as recommendation goes, if you're curious to see how it began, go for it, but otherwise you're really not missing much.
Oh, yeah. Next time we'll be getting into the next issue of the miniseries. Miniseries 1, I will call it. Because when the real book starts, they start over at 1.
Yeah.
And that one's going to be an interesting ride, if only because everything starts to get closer to the actual book. I mean, closer than this issue was, at least. Sally gets the color she has at the beginning of the series. Robotnik's eyes are black. More of the strip follows the gag format that the rest of the book will, instead of whatever Oh No, Oh Robo No Momobo was. It also has Boomer giving some of the best jokes ever to come out of the gag series. So we'll look forward to that.
Well, until then, thank you for having me. I am that fat guy. I'm fat, and I really gotta pee.
Alright. We shall see you next time.